Imagine waking up in a strange room not knowing how you got there. You've spent the night in this unfamiliar place. Your mind stirs from slumber as a woman's voice, distant and mechanical, reads the news. The momentary confusion leads you to believe she's in bed with you, only to realize you're hearing a radio alarm. As your eyes adjust to the darkness, you begin to make out the room's details. A dressing gown hangs off the back of a wardrobe door, a woman's, but belonging to someone much older than you. Dark-colored trousers are neatly folded over the back of a chair at the dressing table. The alarm clock, complicated and alien, sits on the bedside table, its incessant noise finally silenced by your fumbling hand. A juddering intake of breath from behind snaps you back to reality. You're not alone. As you turn around, an expanse of skin and dark hair flecked with white comes into view. A man. His left arm protrudes from under the covers, a gold band gleaming on the third finger. A wave of realization washes over you. This man is not just older and grey, he's also married. You suppress a groan. It seems you've not only been intimate with a married man, but have done so in his home, possibly in the bed he usually shares with his wife. A pang of shame tugs at your conscience, but you bury it, lying back to collect your thoughts. Your mind races. Where is his wife? Should you worry about her barging in at any moment? You can almost see her across the room, anger etched on her face, hurling accusations. You wonder how you'd defend yourself. The man, however, seems blissfully unconcerned, his snores punctuating the silent room. In the midst of this chaos, you find yourself unusually amnesic. Usually, you'd remember how you ended up in such a situation, but not today. There must have been a party, or a bar, or a club. You must have been pretty wasted enough to not remember anything at all. Wasted enough to have gone home with a man with a wedding ring and hairs on his back. So this one is not only old and grey, I think, but also married. The realization that I am not alone hits me. I am with a man, a married man, in his home, in his bed. As I lie there, the room enveloped in the cold light of dawn, a chilling thought creeps into my mind. Where is his wife? Could she be on her way home? The fear of an unexpected confrontation sends ripples of anxiety coursing through my veins. I imagine her, entering the room, her eyes filled with outrage and betrayal. I can almost hear her voice shrill and accusing, echoing through the stillness of the room. I imagine her words, each one a sharp dagger slicing through the silence, calling me a home-wrecker, a seductress. I picture her, a modern Medusa, her fury manifesting as a mass of venomous snakes. How would I defend myself if she were to materialize? The mere thought sends a shiver down my spine. Yet, in the midst of this chaos of thoughts, the man beside me remains unperturbed. He lies there, his chest rising and falling rhythmically with each breath, oblivious to the turmoil within me, his snoring, a constant reminder of his presence, a grating symphony of guilt and regret. This man, this stranger with his graying hair and wedding band, is seemingly unconcerned. Is he so accustomed to such situations that he can sleep through them without a care? Or is he simply so deep in slumber that my fears and anxieties fail to permeate his dreams? I am left alone with my thoughts, my fears, my guilt. The room, once unfamiliar, now feels claustrophobic, each ticking second amplifying the dread of the possible catastrophe. Yet he remains undisturbed, his snores a stark contrast to the panic-stricken silence enveloping me. He has turned over and snores on, oblivious to the storm of thoughts in my mind. The past is a blur. How did I end up here? I lie still, trying to remember. A wave of confusion washes over me, leaving behind a tide of uncertainty. I strain my mind, trying to recollect the events that led me to this unfamiliar room, this unfamiliar bed. I must have been at a party, I surmise. Yes, a party. Or perhaps it was a bar. The details elude me, fading away like shadows at dawn. The memory of laughter, clinking glasses, and the dull throb of music in the background begins to surface. A night of revelry, a celebration of some sort maybe. Or was it just another attempt to drown the sorrows of the day in the amber of intoxication? The taste of regret is bitter on my tongue as I try to piece together the jigsaw of last night. A faceless crowd, a cacophony of voices, then a single voice, louder, clearer, closer. A man's voice, a man with a wedding ring and hairs on his back. A man I shouldn't have gone home with. I must have been pretty wasted, I conclude. Wasted enough to let the lines of right and wrong blur, to let the boundaries of my better judgment be swept away in the currents of the night. Wasted enough to stumble into an unfamiliar home, into the arms of an unfamiliar man. The guilt gnaws at me. It's not the first time I've woken up in an unfamiliar room, but the presence of the wedding ring, the specter of a wife possibly returning home, adds a new layer of remorse. A married man. I've not only crossed the line, but I've also trampled over it, leaving behind a trail of mistakes. I look at the man again, his back turned towards me, oblivious to the turmoil within me. The sight of the gold band on his finger amplifies my regret. I've not only screwed up, but I've also screwed up royally. Wasted enough to have gone home with a man with a wedding ring and hairs on his back. The realization hits me like a punch to the gut, but it's too late for regrets. Now, all I can do is face the consequences of my forgotten past. I need to get out of here, but first the bathroom. The urgency of escape is building, but there's a primal need that must be addressed. The bed, a sea of crumpled sheets and forgotten indiscretions, is left behind. The woman's slippers left by the bedside are ignored. There's a certain line that shouldn't be crossed, and wearing another woman's shoes feels like an overstep. So, barefoot and vulnerable, I navigate towards the landing. Each creak of the wooden floor beneath me sounds like a shout in the quiet house, a beacon announcing my presence. The cold morning air prickles my naked skin, a stark reminder of the situation I found myself in. The hallway is a maze of closed doors, each one hiding potential spectators to my walk of shame. The fear of stumbling upon a lodger, or worse, a teenage son, claws at my chest. Each step is measured, careful, a dance between haste and caution. The bathroom door, slightly ajar, appears like a beacon at the end of the hallway. It's an oasis of privacy in this desert of unknown territory. I slip inside, the cool tiles underfoot a welcome change from the hardwood of the landing. The lock clicks into place, a small but significant barrier between me and the rest of the house. Inside, the bathroom is a stark contrast to the rest of the house. It's impersonal, sterile. It's a space that hasn't been claimed by personal items or familiar scents. There's a detachment in this room that offers a momentary reprieve, a space to gather my thoughts and plan my next move. The mirror reflects a stranger, a woman caught in a situation she doesn't fully understand. But there's a determination in her eyes, a resolve that wasn't there before. This is not a situation she wants to find herself in again. Relieved, I see the bathroom door is ajar and go in, locking it behind me. The lock clicks into place, a small victory in this strange battlefield. The bathroom, a safe haven for now, offers a momentary reprieve before the next stage of the escape plan. Locked in the bathroom, I am left alone with my thoughts and my dilemma. The harsh fluorescent light illuminates my face in the mirror, bearing witness to the harsh reality of my situation, a situation I don't even remember getting into. The regret is a bitter pill to swallow, leaving a sour taste in my mouth. This is not the first time I've found myself in a situation like this, but it's the first time I can't remember how I got here. My mind is a foggy mess, a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces. The usual breadcrumbs that lead me back to the start of my poor decisions are nowhere to be found. I am left only with the aftermath of a night I can't remember. I look at my reflection in the mirror, my eyes hollow and tired. I see the woman I've become, a woman who has sacrificed her dignity, her self-respect, for fleeting moments of pleasure. A woman who has found herself in a stranger's house with a stranger's husband, in a stranger's bed. The shame is palpable, a heavy weight on my chest that makes it hard to breathe. I think of the wife, the woman who owns the slippers I refuse to wear, the woman whose life I have unknowingly invaded. I wonder how she will react when she finds out, and the thought sends a cold shiver down my spine. But along with the shame and regret, there's a sense of urgency, a need to escape this foreign environment, to get out of this house, out of this room, away from this man, to run as far as I can and never look back. And so I find myself at a crossroads. Do I face the consequences of my actions, or do I run away, leaving behind this strange, unfamiliar room and the remnants of a night I can't remember? I ought to be ashamed, but right now, all I can think of is escaping this strange, unfamiliar room.